All right, and welcome in everyone to the NA. This matchup is the side of Nova Challengers versus what is it? Shaded CozzPVP. I don't know which order the name of their team goes in. That's bad. Anyways, we are getting into the draft here. We see the side of Nova Challengers hovering over a Kroll ban, which may very well be the first ban, and it is. Which it looks like it's going to be quickly followed by a Catherine ban. What do you expect to see from these sides?
I would like to see, something meta, maybe a Grace. That's always a very safe captain pick in this current patch. The ultimate is just huge healing in when the sustain nerf has gone out.
Yes, and we see a glaive picked up here on the side of Shaded PvP Cause. With Catherine off the board, the Idris is an open pick, but we'll wait to see if they're going to take their captain hero. Maybe they will flex the glaive to captain, and when they do pick up the Idris, two strong picks on the side of Shaded. So what do you expect to see Nova Challengers respond with?
I might want to see a jungle lance just to take another captain off the board and force Shaded Kaz to maybe do a little bit of an off-meta captain. Or maybe two hyper carries, Kestrel and Celeste.
Celeste being hovered right here on the side of Nova Challenger, which I think would be a good pick because Kaz is very well known. Celeste here. And we do see the Celeste getting picked up, and it looks like the draft will probably be finished off with a Lance, but let's see what these teams decide to do. Or maybe a Black Feather. They're trying to decide, right? Yeah, right now they're trying to flex the glaive into the captain role, or if they want to use it in jungle. Scarf also a very good pick. So what do you think of this matchup here?
I'm leaning a little bit towards the side of CozzPVP because they do have a fairly good dive here with the glaive, and if he can afterburn backwards into a goop, into a chakram, then that's a deleted Celeste or a deleted Kestrel.
Yeah, and the Kestrel pick into the glaive with the glaive already being on the board is a little questionable in my mind. Glaive being such a strong counter into that Kestrel, even when she hits her active camo, an afterburn will just hit her and reveal her in a lot of situations.
Yep, and it'll have to be a weapon Kestrel here, so that active camo is not as much of a weapon, in my opinion.
Right, absolutely. Usually more for repositioning or setting up the trap than it is for sneaking around. So we see Nova Challengers here starting on the dual backs. The same going for the team of Shaded.
It looks like Grace might go around and try to steal some farm here.
Yeah,
and Plot going to do the same.
Yeah, Plot going through the jungle to get to the backs, try and steal out some farm. And we do see a fight going on. School Days Taka, which is Shaded, able to steal out that back treant. But now it is a 1v2 situation for the side of Nova Challengers, chasing around this glaive. But they do find themselves now sandwiched in between the teams of Shaded, and the pressure is on. They're chasing Travix around, and it looks like first blood will go to the side of Shaded.
And it looks like Grace will slowly but surely take these backs, but that is also a kill going to Shaded and more farm than what Grace has stolen. So not a great trade. It looks like Celeste might be caught out again.
Yeah, the pressure on Hot and Heavy and Celeste falls from an afterburn, and this will allow the side of Shaded PvP Cause to farm the backs from Nova Challengers and then port home. Eddie all and take the L, farming in the lane, the pressure being put on by Take the L at the moment. Eddie all choosing to chase and land some glimmer shots, ignoring the minions at the moment. And he's going to try and port, but the port is canceled by the minion
Plot
attack.
gets knocked into the turrets.
Yeah, Plot is caught out of
Will
position
escape.
here, but because of the tankiness of the Grace and only the Book of Eulogies on Take the L at the moment, Plot not taking enough damage to actually go down. So right now we are looking at a 5 CS lead in the lane for the side of Nova Challengers, but an 8
Oh,
CS
it looks like they're rotating up to maybe catch Plot out here. Eddie
They
is
are.
backwards.
School Days, Taka, and Kaz coming out and catching Eddie all out. Grace comes in, but there is just absolutely nothing that Plot can do there.
Take the L did go low, but there wasn't enough, damage coming out yet from the side of Nova Challengers that they could, do anything with it. And a 19-20, so we're even CS in the lane. Pretty much even with a slight edge to Shaded in the, and we're looking good here.
Yep, so the farming is back again, and Travis is going to be caught out again at the Elder Treant. 2v1 situation and another kill. We are now at 4-0 for the side of Shaded PvP Cause.
Yes. See, they're already 1,000 gold up, and the jungle hasn't even intensified yet.
Yes, a huge early game advantage for the side of Shaded. We see Cause in the back
as well.
taking the backs.
Will find him. Holy Nova will find him, and he will fall.
And 2 kills going the way of Nova Challengers now. Catching up a little bit in gold, now only behind 800, 900 gold for the side of Shaded. But we are back to the farm, and the pressure is still heavily in favor of the side of Shaded against the Nova Challengers here. Edial taking down the minions, making sure that little damage gets done to this turret, and Plot up here to help put the pressure back on to take the L.
Shaded is doing a really good job of the duo jungling that we didn't really see in the first series, that both of these carries, or everyone actually, is on level 5, and Plot is still on level 4. So there's a bit of more experience on the side of Shaded, and which means they'll get ults faster, which means they'll scale faster and get items faster, and the first turret has fallen.
And the first turret goes down, but a beautiful active camo from Edial to reposition takes down School Days Taka, coupled with the core collapse from Travix. And Nova Challengers fighting back even after they lost this first turret, starting to push the lane up more. We see Kaz in the back farming on this Scarf, but rotating up to help protect this turret, but I don't know if he'll get there in time.
Stun.
And the first turret goes down, but the Dragon's Breath comes out. Travix going low, Plot hits the fountain, and Take the L drops Edial as we were watching the other fight and pushes right back. So what looked to be a bad set of events for Travix there ended up being a misfortune for Edial, and now Shaded is taking
a free gold mine.
Plot is here, thinking about challenging for it. The afterburn will prevent that from happening. A late solar storm, and will give that gold over to Shaded. And now Travis caught out, and the Celeste goes down again. This Idris just simply doing too much work onto the Celeste. And
that's got to be super demoralizing if you're Travis. 1 in 4 and behind in farm, and Edial is in trouble. He will fall. The 2-man Holy Nova get Plot out safely.
Yeah, so I feel like right now that there's just not enough that Plot can do on this Grace to stop the amount of engage that the team of Shaded has.
Scarf has picked up a first item, and it looks like they're going to try to siege this next turret.
Right, the team of Shaded positioning for this turret. Will they try to put some pressure on it or not? They're thinking about rotating down. Cozz going into
One shot lands on take the L.
Into the jungle to take that mid-treant, and the side of Shaded looks like they're preparing to fall back, maybe try and steal some more farm or get a shop visit in here with little to no engage coming out of the side of Nova. And
Travis
Celeste caught out again. A great ult coming out of plot, but it wasn't enough to save Travis. The Crystal Sentry goes down, take the L, going low. Eddie focus on School Days Taka, who jumps in for the afterburn. The afterburn on Ediol into the goop.
So
take Ediol so low. Ediol is so low. Plot is so low. They're all running. Plot gets away. Ediol trying, avoids the Spitfire, and it looks like the side of Shaded is not going to pick up any of those kills. Nova Challengers escaping by the skin of their teeth.
Man, I think Ediol's hat might have gotten knocked off Spitfire there, but he will survive.
Yes, that was a very beautiful and very lucky positioning here, as we see Travis kind of searching for the side of Shaded, at least putting some vision down with those Helios to make sure that they're not waiting for a gank. We see all three for both teams up in the lane now, turning into a bit of a battle royale here as the Spitfire lands on plot. Travis landing some Helios down, and Shaded just trying to find the angle, trying to find the position, and they caught Travis out for a minute, but the boots will set it free. Afterburn onto Ediol, but the mist saving him from any more damage. Active camo. I'm sorry, I had a brain fart there for a minute. Helios landing on Cozz, plot going low, the afterburn in on Ediol. The healing comes out on Ediol, and the glimmer shots landing. The glimmer shots taking him low. Cozz is so low. Plot gets the kill onto Cozz.
Sweeping in with the benediction.
And now it's a 1v1. Oh, and the ultimate saves, take the L, and actually gives him the kill onto Travis.
What I feel like Nova Challengers needs to do now is stick together. Because what Shaded is doing really well, as Eddie gets caught out here and annihilated. What I was saying is, if Nova can stick together and prevent the afterburn or the Spitfires from landing on any one of the carries, then they can survive much longer in fights. The sustain from the Eve that Travis has just picked up will make him a much more useful member of this team.
Yeah, I feel like it's just been some mispositionings coming out of the side of Nova Challengers that are setting them back in some of these fights. We just saw it on Ediol being so split from plot that he was able to get picked apart by the afterburn coming from School Days Taka. And a free gold mine went to the side of Shaded while we were having that discussion. We see Ediol and Plot up here in the lane. Plot taking damage. Take the L, dives in. Plot goes very low.
Glimmer shots are there for him.
Nothing will come of it.
Something interesting that I did notice was an echo on Glaive, so he can get 2 afterburns in a fight, maybe 3 with that cooldown reduction.
Right, so we will definitely have to see how that plays a part in these next fights. Oh, and a double stun come out of Travis, but Travis goes very low. The ult from Grace, not enough to save him. The Dragonfire comes out. Ediol falls. Plot in a 1v3 with just the Crystal Sentry to save him, and the Crystal Sentry can't, and the Crystal Sentry will also give up his life. The side of Shaded is cleaning up the back camps from the side of Nova Challengers. Take the L, now pushing in with the Ace minion wave onto this turret. It does look like the second turret is going to go down. Right. They do have Scarf, which is the ultimate turret killer, but Nova Challengers are back up. Plot body blocking a Spitfire there, and another. And the side of Shaded splits them. Plot running away from his team, forcing Take the L into the chase. Take the L does clean up the kill. However,
One shot
Cozz
goes
has
wide.
gone very low. Eddie trying to sneak that glimmer shot in there to take out Cozz, but just missing, which is leaving Travix there to try to fend off this push onto the turret with the Helios, setting up quite the Helio minefield there. Shaded doing a great job of playing around it. Take the L going low, and the Solar Storm is going to miss.
What I
Eddie
would have
Alt-
liked to see from Celeste in that last fight was maybe firing that Solar Storm at Scarf when he was just sticking over by the wall, because he did have vision with the Helios, so he could see Scarf, and he had very low health, and a quick just Solar Storm might have finished him off there.
Yes, or even a Solar Storm while they were pushing in on the turret and together just to cause that damage and make them second guess the push on the turret. However, the side of Shaded PvP Cozz now up by 2 turrets, up by 8,000 gold, and well in control of this map.
Scarf is going to get caught out here. He runs away safe.
But the pressure now going down onto School Days Taka. Oh, and Eddie gets, and the Spitfire plot with the heal, but the Dragon's Breath comes out.
Double
and
heal
plot
keeps
is going to
alive.
fall, and there's the afterburn. Eddie goes down as well. That is a double kill and an ace.
And possibly a gold mine as well.
And Shaded is going to, they're going to split objectives here. Cozz taking the gold mine solo, which the Scarf has no problem doing, while Take the L and School Days Taka push in on these crystal turrets. They will get one. The side of Nova Challengers will be up for the second one, but they're going to continue to try to push it down. Now they're going to fall back as Eddie, Plot, and Travix position themselves to defend this turret. Travix taking serious damage and is just annihilated. Eddie with the active camo to escape. Nope,
Can't
not
get
escape.
back in time.
And this final turret is going to fall. The crystal turret is going to fall. And game 1 is going to go to the side of Shaded PvP Cozz.
That was a very cleanly here by Shaded PvP Cozz. Every team fight was spot on. They dove the carries that they needed to dive. Everything was very cleanly executed.
Yeah, and I think, again, we see this Celeste with no defense, which we all know that a Celeste wants to do, right? Celeste wants to pick up that 4 items for offense, but we just saw, I mean, the Celeste went 1 and 9, just nothing that she could do in those fights, dominated by the dive potential of this Rome Glaive and the weapon Idris, who is going to dive you, not kite you.
Next game, I'd like to see Nova Challengers play a more tanky composition, because with the glaive and the dive that was available on the side of Shaded, they were able to just delete the carries before they could really do anything major.
Right, so we are getting ready to get into game number 2. The draft will be starting here shortly. What do you want to see from the side of Shaded PvP Cozz in this draft?
Same thing that they pulled out in game 1, just clean executions, comfort picks, you know, maybe a flex glaive again. That double afterburn was just so devastating. And I think that's their win condition here, is just singling out carries and making sure that they can just keep getting the same high level of team fights that they had in the first game.
Yeah, and I feel like the side of Nova Challengers needs to think out their draft strategy better. It felt a little to me like they were just trying to take strong picks away from the opposing team, when you pick a Grace, you need another dive hero, right? Grace wants to dive, and she's very strong with heroes like Koshka or Glaive or Kroll, people that want to dive along with her, and they just didn't have that in the Celeste and the Kestrel. So when you put yourself in that situation, it feels like the only thing that the Grace can offer is the divine interventions for the heals against a comp that includes an Idris and a Glaive. That Holy Nova is going to do little to nothing in a match because they're just too fast, too mobile to get hit with that stun.
And
so
the draft is going to begin here.
Right, we got the draft starting up here. Shaded PvP Cause on the A side, Nova Challengers on the B side. I would expect to see some of those typical bands come out, the Graces, the Catherines. Oh, but we see an Idris band on the A side.
Because we saw Take the L playing Idris in the first game. You would think that he would want to pick that one up for himself.
Right, and putting that out there also puts Nova Challengers in the position to try to decide who they want to give to Shaded PvP Cause. They are going to ban the Catherine, which will give Shaded PvP Cause the Grace if they want it. I wonder if maybe they shouldn't have banned something else, perhaps another carry, so they could get either the Grace or the Catherine.
You see ghosting over a Saw, but Grace will get picked up by Shaded Cause, and very safe pick, I think.
Very safe pick. We see the Grace come out. Perhaps a Lyra or a Lance to counter that. We'll see what Plot wants to pick here.
4 seconds left.
Looks like they're going to go with the Finn. Okay, so with the Finn pick here, what do you think that we need to see accompanied with the Finn?
One frontliner and one sort of mage hero, so that you can have a solid front line to stand behind, so the mage can lay down damage. Maybe this Glaive and then a Celeste or a Scarf, which is something I would really like to see out from Nova Challengers.
Yeah, so the Glaive does come out. Now, I think that Nova Challengers is going to be careful with how they use this Glaive. Glaive is one of those heroes that can be a blessing or a curse with a Finn, because with that afterburn, Glaive can kind of be all over the place, and Plot on this Finn just isn't going to be able to split his attention. He's going to have to make a choice of who to protect, and if he has Glaive flying all over the place with the afterburn, it's just not going to work out as far as Plot being able to protect him. So we see the side of Shaded pick up the Celeste, which we know that Cause is very good on, and a Black Feather to finish out their comp. So what do you think of their comp, Grace, Celeste, and Black Feather?
I think it's very good comp, but if Glaive can get onto Celeste, it can be pretty much bad news, because if Grace and Black Feather dive too heavily, that leaves Celeste very open to a counter. And I do like the Scarf here, so that can be another mage hero that can quite possibly outdistance and maybe catch the Celeste.
Right, so Celeste versus a Scarf we know to be a skill matchup. Whoever lands skill shots is generally going to win. I said this in the last match that we casted as well. I want to see Edial holding his afterburns to provide some heal for this Scarf. We'll see how it plays out. Scarf is a good pick with a Finn because he's not very mobile. He's going to hang around the same area as Plot on this Finn. And as we see the teams come out, do you expect an invasion from School Days Taka on this Grace?
I do. I believe that Shaded believes they have an edge here, that they have the stronger draft, and I do expect some aggression here, but I do expect Edial and Plot here to cancel that aggression.
Yeah, so we know Scarf and Finn to be very late game heroes, but a lot of damage put down on Grace. But with her speed and the boot, she's able to get out rather unscathed, which buys time for the rest of her team to take that Elder Treant, which is a huge amount of experience going on. And that rotation also disrupts the side of Nova challengers from their rotation, forcing oh, we actually have a switch in positionings here. It looks like Travix is going to be up in the lane, and it prevents Travix from taking the backs with Edial on this glaive in the jungle. And so some lost experience there for the Scarf.
Maybe we're feeling a comfort pick situation. Maybe Travis feels he's a lot better on Scarf, and that way he can take it in the lane.
Yeah, and the Scarf and the Glaive are both flex picks. I mean, they can be played in either position. Scarf did see a nerf in his jungle, as we see a Quibble come out from Plot, some damage going down on Travix, but really nothing coming out of it other than that. But the basic attacks, or I'm sorry, the heroic perk for Scarf getting nerfed in this last patch does negate some of the effect that he can have in the jungle, as we see Edial helping Travix push this lane up.
And now, if they can rotate down and catch Celeste here, especially since she's very low and just took that Elder Treant, this could be a great opportunity for Nova challengers to pick up a first blood.
Yeah, and you see there some of the potential weakness that I was talking about from that Finn. When Edial and Plot were going to rotate down into Shaded's jungle together, however, take the L, putting the pressure onto Travix there, and Plot having to rotate back up because Finn can not move fast enough to cover two places at the same time, as some of the captains, like a Grace, have the mobility to do, to rotate very quickly and provide help.
Especially this early in the game, where Finn only has tier 1 boots. He's not got a War Treads yet, or anything that can really give him more mobility. So I think he is a better pick right here in the lane, protecting Travis, even though he is slower and he won't gain as much experience. But keeping the carry alive, especially against this hyper-aggressive Take the L, would be more beneficial than it would hurt.
Oh, and Edial caught out down in the jungle, a Holy Nova and a Core land. The Afterburn does save him, but he is on a Dragon's Breath of help, and School Days Taka is going to clean up that kill. I'm a little unsure as to why Edial turned around to take that fight, but he did. And the first blood going to the side of Shaded PvP Cause, as we see Take the L pushing up the lane, Travix trying to push back to protect this turret, and the on-point landing doing damage to both Plot and Travix, and Take the L pushing this wave all the way into the turret. Edial is back up, might have Take the L caught, but he senses it coming and falls back.
I would like Blackfeather here to build a breaking point as his first item, because Travis is fairly slow, Plot is fairly slow, and that's free breaking point stacks that they can just pick off and make these team fights swinging the edge of Shaded.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, do you expect to see a Serpent's Mask breaking point typical Blackfeather build on this, or do you expect to see something else?
I'm gonna guess they would be Serpent Mask first, considering he's got the book and the heavy steel, and then a breaking point. But you never know with these guys.
And we do see the Serpent's Mask finished. The first tier 3 item on the board, other than the fountains, is the Serpent's Mask. Travix just finished his Frostburn and is returning to lane. Edial is sitting on an early infusion, pocket infusion, which early infusions, what's your opinion on early infusions?
It's situational. I don't like it here, especially because he doesn't have a tier 3 item yet. So he hasn't really spiked in items yet. So to me, it's just 500 gold down the drain. But we could see Edial could pull out some pretty good moves with it.
And we see the 3v2 situation up here in the lane. Edial far in the jungle at his back, so it will take him a while to get here to help as well. However, the Scarf being able to fend off this minion wave quite quickly. An Afterburn comes in from Edial, landing onto Cause, not doing much of anything else other than helping them push the wave back, getting a little bit of damage on this turret. But we are going to see, Shaded is not rotating down. They are going to come back up and push the pressure in this lane some more. Seeing some of what we were missing in past games where teams have their advantage and they play to it. Oh,
Fountain is popped, and Edial is looking in trouble.
And we do see Cozz go down to Travix. But
Yes,
Edial is very
Blackfeather's
low, taken down by Take the L. The Divine Intervention comes out to save Take the L, and we have a 2v2 skirmish here. The Holy Nova lands on both Plot and Travix, and that's going to force School Days Taka to quickly scamper away.
So, NACL Battle Royale edition, huh?
And School Days Taka rotates down to take that mid treant, get some health, and give himself a chance to heal back up so he can remain in this fight. But Take the L is very low down. Take the L here is going to go down.
Burns to death from that scarf. The frostburn.
Second kill going to Travix, and the kill score is now tied up 2-2. However, Nova Challengers is still about 1.5k behind in the gold, and that is going to come from the farm advantage on both ends, both the jungle and the lane.
And I think here, Edial is starting to see that infusion that he bought kind of bite him a little bit, because Blackfeather is sitting on a Serpent's Mask, a Heavy Steel, and 2 Tier 1 defense items, while Eddie still hasn't finished a Tier 3 item. So he's going to have to hyper farm a little bit to catch up.
Yeah, and Take the L taking some damage. He is at now. Another Spitfire comes out but misses. Nova Challengers pushing up. The Goop in the Spitfire comes down. Plot and School Days Taka going back and forth here. The Benediction comes down onto Travix. Plot now taking some damage from Cozz. Edial in with the Afterburn. But the Holy Nova is going to... I'm sorry, the...
Forced Accord.
Too many holy things. The Helios are doing a lot here. Turn into the Supernova. That's the Nova I was looking for. Holy Nova, Supernova, Nova Challengers. Oh my goodness. As we see the side of Shaded continuing to push. Oh! And
late fountain by Plot.
Yeah, late fountain by Plot. Plot is going to fall. Travix is going to fall. The ace comes out for the side of Shaded. Take the L trying to escape the aggro from the turret, and turret 1 goes down as the side of Shaded pulls off that team fight. What did you see there?
It was just a bit of a bad position on Eddie's part. He was the first one to drop, and then Plot wasn't able to get the fountain off in time, and that will result in about a 4k gold lead and a free gold mine going over to Shaded.
Edial has Cozz trapped back here in the back of their jungle. Him and the Crystal Sentry. Plot rotating around to get to Cozz. Cozz taking some damage, trying to escape. We'll run back up into the lane now. I think just stalling for... Oh, he gets the kill onto Edial, but Plot picks up the kill onto Cozz there. What a way to turn that around. When what we didn't even see going down was the gold miner going down, as well as Travix going down to take the L. It is now a 5k gold lead, a 4-kill lead, and a 1-turret lead for the side of Shaded PvP Cozz.
We do see Blackfeather finishing is the breaking point, as I predicted correctly. Just call me Sweet J. And we see the Broken Myth, second item on Celeste. How do you feel that one's going to turn out?
The Broken Myth, the second item out on Celeste, is a little different. Cozz is a Celeste genius, however, so I won't necessarily question his build, but it is not typical. Typically, you see the maybe the Frostburn and then the Eve, or what is becoming even a little more common is the Eve into the Frostburn or the Clockwork. But he's going Frostburn. Breaking Point, I think right now they're enough in the lead that he doesn't feel like he needs the Eve here.
Yeah. Now would be a good time once Travis gets back to look for an engage, because Cozz here is pretty much out of energy on Celeste, and energy is the one thing Celeste really needs to be effective.
And so we see
Sentry
if
goes
the
down.
Crystal Sentry goes down, a little bit of a skirmish, but both teams are going to disengage from this fight. Neither team particularly favoring their position in that.
And
so
a
they
null
do go
wave,
back.
second item on plot.
A null wave coming out. That is to prevent the block on the Forced Accord, as Shaded is taking the gold miner, and this is going to be a free gold mine. Nova Challengers doesn't even know that it's happening. It's a decent gold payout, which in times past 233 gold would be an almost filled gold mine, but now with the extra 100 gold in that gold miner, that's only about half full, but still a great objective taken by the side of Shaded PvP Cause.
And one thing I've been noticing about Plot is his mine placements. All the vision that he's put down is in rather weird positions that you wouldn't normally expect teams to walk in. And I think that's one of the reasons they didn't know that Goldmine was going down, is all he's got now are flares. At least, CozzShaded has mine in Tribush, so they can at least see if someone's rotating down.
Yeah, and sometimes the goal behind the weird placements on mines is just to keep them living longer. You do see that they have very good vision on their backs here, looking like they're setting up for an ambush, but Kaz sniffs it out with a Helio. School Days Taka taking a Spitfire to the face, take the L, taking another Spitfire landing on School Days Taka, but here comes the damage from Celeste onto Plot. Ediol.
Here comes the pull.
With the Afterburn, which doesn't seem to do much. The Dragon's Fire comes out, but Ediol... Kaz going very low. Ediol goes down. Travik's in trouble now. Travis goes down. It is an ace for the side of Shaded. They will get the choke point turret and push in for more, it looks like.
That was such a promising fight on the side of... The Dragon's Breath was perfectly timed. The pull from Finn was perfectly timed, bringing in Celeste, but what we've been preaching all night is taking those advantages and pushing them. And that's what Shaded's done. They've got 11,000 gold. Now they're just trolling for kills here. And
now they're just padding the stats. They will take the crystal here and end the game. And this will be the match going over to the side of Shaded PvP Cause 2-0 as Nova Challengers falls in this match.
Man, talk about snowballing. That Celeste, such a late game hero, and reaching late game way faster than normal, gets way faster item spikes, and that's how they could take that game so quick.
Yeah, and it just seemed like that glaive just was not able to have the effect that you would typically expect from a weapon-powered glaive. Going 0-6 there on Ediol. Definitely a struggle for the side of Nova Challengers, but GG's to both teams, and that is going to finish up this series for us. Thank you for watching the NACL, and have a great night.